Hey everyone, Sycra here, and today I'm continuing with my series on this character design for Space Waitress K, as I've called her. And so now I'm figuring out hair. So what I've done is, in the last video, I copied and pasted a bunch of heads, and I always like to start this way. It's much easier for me to create a bunch of things and then fill those things. Like if I'm drawing heads on a page, I might just draw a bunch of ovals first, and it's easier to draw 20 ovals than to start with one and expect to draw it and then do another one and then do another one. By just having a lot of heads on the page to begin with, it's like, oh, I want to fill those heads with different variations, so already I'm going to be a lot more free with my design. And the thing with this character and the hair is, if you've seen my other characters, my original characters, their hair never really makes a whole lot of sense. And at times, it isn't even really hair. It doesn't function as hair. And I don't even know what it is, but I don't really think of it as hair. I think of it more like this abstract shape that can do a lot of weird things. Like it can float above the head. It can form into weird patterns. It can defy gravity. And so when I'm doing this, I'm going between these two things. Like, is this hair like hair, or is this hair like nothing? Like you can see some of the ones I'm doing right now. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's more like just a shape. But then other ones, it's like, yeah, there's a hairstyle like that. So yeah, I took all of these, and then I took the one that's like, okay, which one looks like it works the most? And then I isolated that one and just I didn't remove the rest. I just I duplicated the layers and pasted that one. So I still have all the different versions. And now what I'm doing is the next batch. And you'll see sometimes I'll take something from one head that I liked and I'll bring it down to another head. Because it's like, well, I want to explore this design. There's something here, but I'm not sure I want to do it on this one. I want to do it on its own thing. So I'm doing a lot of these, and you can see I really like those huge bangs in the front. I also like short hair, as you can see here. I don't know. I've always really liked short hair for girls, but I also like long hair. So it's like, which one? Not sure. And keeping in mind that she's a space waitress, that's also going into this design process. Like, sure, I might like the hair, but if it doesn't look like it could belong on what I consider a space waitress, then it doesn't really work, even though I like the hair. So I have to find a happy medium where it's like, yes, I like the hair, but it also fits. And so each time, like each iteration, I take some, and see here, I just copied and pasted a bunch of the same ones because I want to try variety. I want to try fixing them ever so slightly and see what is working, what's not working, trying a bunch of different things. Keeping this super long bang, some people may hate it. I guess that's a problem of designing for yourself and your own taste, is that some people may think your tastes suck. And I'm sorry if you do, but hopefully you can still get something out of the process of it, playing around, thinking a lot about shapes, but also thinking about how does this turn in space? If I do this on the side view, what's it going to look like in the front view? And again, it has to look good in all the views. So this is where I run into a lot of problems because I'm not that good at thinking in 3D space. I'm okay, I guess, but I'm not like an expert. I'm no Kim Jong-gi at thinking in 3D space, not even close. So what I have to do is I try and get the design down, and I try and make it as accurate as possible and think about good shapes, but I'm not going to dwell on the perfection of it, like whether this is absolutely correct or not. And the reason for that is I don't want to slow myself down in terms of the design process. I want to design first and then correct later. And hopefully, if the design is strong, it's going to hold up through the correcting phase. And see here, I had really narrowed it down to two styles of hair that I liked. and one is, I don't know, the hair sort of goes back, and then the other, well, both of them, the hair goes back, but I didn't know, it's like, fine, you have this bang in the front, that's cool, we'll keep that. But then it was a case of, do I have like a ponytail? Because the ponytail one felt right, and the one I'm currently doing, I think it looks really cool, but it doesn't really feel like a waitress to me. It feels too hip. I don't know, trendy. I'm not sure, but yeah. So the ponytail felt like a waitress, but the thing is, I already had in my mind an idea for an outfit, and I wanted it to be pretty, I don't know, sexually suggestive, I guess. Because as I said, I want to draw something that I would like to draw a lot, and anyway, so it's like, would it fit with a very voluptuous body and a lot of, I don't know, skin showing and stuff? And I didn't really feel it did. And then for this one, I did more of this, I guess it's an asymmetrical haircut that would be an undercut and a bob, but asymmetrical. And so it's like, yeah, that's got something. So I decided, yeah, you know what? I think I like that one the best. It looks like a waitress could have this, maybe like a more fashion conscious waitress, I guess, but also it doesn't look too tame. It looks like, yeah, you could kind of go crazy with the clothing and it's not going to look too normal. Whereas the ponytail was feeling very real world. And so I don't really want it to be existing in reality too much. I want to have the freedom to be more, just have fun, because I already have Affinity, which is going to be this long, serious story, very epic. And I don't want to do the same thing with this. I want this to be a lot more lighthearted, a lot more fun, just, whatever, anything goes. And I found with the design, if you make it too realistic, it's hard to get away with a lot of the more goofy elements, wacky, weird stuff. So it's a trade-off, Do you go more realistic where you get more access to perhaps deeper emotions, more subtlety in emotion, perhaps more serious storylines, or do you want to go a bit more cartoony, a bit more unrealistic, and have the ability to just do anything, And I think a lot of animes try and walk the line between the two. For me, I find it hard to go completely crazy, because in anime sometimes you see a lot of symbols, the teardrop appears on the side of their head when they're feeling a certain way, and it's like, well, I don't know, I don't really want to go that far. And here I'm struggling a lot with how this would look from behind, this hairstyle. I figured I'm missing that view, and I'm also missing, because of this hairstyle, because it's asymmetrical, I kind of need to do the left side and the right side. But with both these two, I'm struggling a bit. But I figured, okay, the basic idea is there. I can work on all the refinements as time goes on. But let's get this down. And let's get the colors down, because I wanted to get the colors of the hair down and the colors of the face down to see if they're working together. And so I'm doing all this at once. And what I'm doing right now, if you've watched my cell shading tutorial on Udemy, or I think you can even access it on my site, Sycra.net, then you'll already know what I'm doing. If not, it's just a coloring method that I find is very quick, and it helps me get variations, and it relies on first just blocking in the big tone, and then you can adjust the colors. And usually the first color I put down is not necessarily the colors of anything. I just need to separate the elements. Like, I need to have the hair as one color, I need to have the clothing as one color, I need to have the face as one color, stuff like that. So again, the colors I'm putting down right now, they could be anything. They just have to be different from each other. So that's what I think of. I put down whatever color, and then what I like to do is really play around with hue saturation sliders after the fact to get all the very unique variations. But even so, if the design is working, even if you put kind of bad colors, if the design's good, it might still look okay. And so far, I'm not hating it. So that's a good sign, you know. You just put down random colors and it's like, yeah, it's okay. I don't hate it. So now what I'm doing is getting a background in. And it's very important to get a background just because the background is going to dictate what the colors are going to look like. For instance, if I had a character with white hair and I have a white background, that white hair is not going to look so good. And I figured for this story, I am going to go more lighthearted. I am going to think about, or I am going to use more pastel colors, very light value colors. So I'm trying to think about that already, that I want to use colors that will be very colorful, but nothing gets too dark. I don't want to go to black, for instance. I don't want to go to, very dark blues or reds or greens or anything like that. And I think I'm going to go even lighter than what I have here, but I thought, this is okay for now, for colors. The difficult thing, though, with colors is everything's relative, right? So I may pick a color scheme that works, but it's still got to be altered when I actually finalize the colors to work with every other character and the background and come up with sort of a palette that is working. And because she's a space waitress, I didn't want to just make her look human. I wanted something to suggest she's from a different world than just a human. But at the same time, I didn't really want to go super alien. And I still wanted the figure to look like a girl or a woman. And so it's like, okay, so I have to make it so you still feel like they're human and attractive, but at the same time, you could get a sense of this character doesn't really belong on Earth, If they came to Earth, it's like, wow, you're an alien or something. Or, but even then, I was like, okay, what if I try a more human-like approach? Because maybe she was a space waitress. Maybe she lived on Earth. Maybe this is in the future, and this isn't necessarily on a different planet. But yeah, so I'm doing a bunch of variations, and what I wanted to do, like, I know which ones I like more and which ones I like less, but I thought it would be interesting, and I do this with DeviantArt as well when I do these color variation things, to just get the opinion of my viewers. So at the end of this, I'm going to just show all the options and then give each one a letter. And I'm curious what you think or what you prefer out of all of them. Maybe not the one you, think looks like, whatever you would think, like, oh, this looks like a good design. This looks like a good space waitress. And I'm not going to, really tally up all the votes and see what's, which one's the most popular. Because I think for this, it's a mascot for my channel or for my DeviantArt. So it's like, I want to do something that's my own and that I like. But I am curious to see, what do you like? So yeah, that's the color portion. I hope it helped. And thanks for watching.